Landseer dog, a breed of working dog used as companions. Known are the lines of Lord Byron dedicated to the Landseers, courage without ferocity and all the virtues of a man without his shortcomings. These calm, powerful dogs are wonderful bodyguards, able to cope with danger in a diplomatic way. A threatening posture and a stern look are usually enough to make intruders retreat. Considering the origin of the Landseer, we must inevitably consider the origin of the Newfoundland, with which the origin of the Landseer is closely connected. Newfoundland got its name in connection with the island of Newfoundland on the northern coast of the American continent. Its origin and development on the island are explained in various ways. In no way has it been proven that it originates from the native dogs of the island or from dogs brought here by settlers, hunters and fishermen, and then mixed with local island dogs. The question also arises about the possibility of its European origin, namely, whether it was imported to the island of Newfoundland and from there returned to its old homeland, primarily to England. None of these questions can be answered with certainty, and therefore the explanation is based only on assumptions. The merits in creating the breeding of the Landseer, in determining the breed characteristics of its exterior, undoubtedly belong to the British. From the middle of the 19th century, the English popularized Newfoundland breeding like no other breed after it. This popularity spread to other countries as well. The paintings of the artist Landseer also played a big role in this. One of the most famous paintings in the world depicting a dog by this master has an inscription-worthy member of human society. Lord Byron, after Shakespeare, the greatest English poet and writer, in his famous speech on the fallen Newfoundland dog named Boatswain, likened him to the ideal of a canine friend, which combines all the wonderful qualities of this breed, above all courage and devotion, giving the animal nobility and dignity. The painting depicting the Newfoundland Landseer, which was published in black and white in many reproductions, was called Landseer Newfoundland, or also Landseer. In contrast to the heavy bearish type of the purebred, the Landseer dog is taller and less bulky. The shape of his skull is more angular and straighter and smoother, his coat is finer. Recently, there has been a lively discussion among Newfoundland lovers on the continent whether the two varieties should be divided into two separate breeds. The impetus for this was the discussion of a comparative project at the meeting of the Fédération Cynologique Internationale, an association of dog lovers from most European countries, held in 1959 in Amsterdam. Then the division of the certificate of the candidate for the International Champion of Beauty had to be made. It was agreed that in the future the Landseer dog would be judged as a separate breed and given a different name. Meanwhile, the FCI, at its meeting in Vienna in 1960, decided to develop breed standards for the Landseer and Newfoundland. The breed characteristics described in the standards were also approved for the needs of the Fédération Cynologique Internationale. According to these regulations, therefore, the Landseer dog is a peopled breed group of the Newfoundland dog, which, however, does not lead to the separation of both breeds. Both options have in common an irresistible craving for water, they are happy in this wet element. Being excellent swimmers with a highly developed rescue instinct, they have saved many people from drowning. Their concern for the well-being of their owners, their devotion, protection of the weak, and, most importantly, children from the danger that threatens them are the main features of their character, thanks to which they became the heroes of many stories. The history of the breed. The Newfoundland and Landseer are descended from dogs used by fishermen in the Newfoundland and Labrador region of Canada. It is believed these dogs are descended from water dogs and livestock guardian dogs imported by Portuguese and Basque fishing vessels. In the Victorian era, black and white Newfoundland dogs were more popular than the solid black coloration, and they were the subject of a number of 19th century artists including Sydenham Edwards, Philip Reinagle, Samuel Jones, and most famously Edwin Landseer, whose name was used to describe black and white Newfoundlands as early as 1896. In the 20th century the solid black coloration became more popular and supplanted the bi-colored animals, so much so that in the 1930s a concerted effort was made to recreate the dog seen in the paintings of Landseer. The efforts of these breeders resulted in the Landseer breed. In Great Britain and North America, Landseer colored dogs are considered a variety of the Newfoundland breed, but in 1976 a separate breed club for Landseer colored dogs was created in Germany. Similar clubs soon followed in Belgium and Holland, and they are now considered a separate breed in continental Europe with separate Fédération Cynologique Internationale recognition. Appearance. General form. Should give the impression of a large massive dog of harmonious build. Its limbs, especially in males, are comparatively taller than those of the black Newfoundland. The movements of his muscular limbs should be characterized by a sweeping step with a slight inclination forward. Height at the withers. In males, on average, from 72 to 80 centimeters, in females, on average, within 65 centimeters. Small deviations in both directions are allowed. Wool and color. The coat, with the exception of the hair on the head, should be long, as smooth as possible and very dense, soft to the touch, interspersed with an undercoat, but not as dense as in a black Newfoundland. There is no objection to a slightly wavy outer coat on the back and thighs. The main color of the coat is snow white with black non-merging spots on the body and on the back. Neck, chest, belly, legs and tail must be white. The head is black. A white muzzle with a symmetrical black patch from one end to the other should always be the breeder's desired goal. Brownish-black markings occurring on a white background are not considered a fault, but nevertheless they will in no way be a breeding goal. Head. Broad and massive, the occipital protuberance is well defined. The transition from the forehead to the muzzle is distinct, but not as pronounced and steep as in the St. Bernard. The length of the muzzle is equal to its depth. The hanging lips are dry, the upper ones slightly covering the lower ones. The lips should fit well over the jaws and should not salivate. The head is modeled in relief, with moderately developed cheekbones, gradually turning into the muzzle. The nose and lips are black. Scissor bite. The skin on the head is without folds and covered with short and fine hair. Eyes. Medium size, relatively deep set, brown or dark brown in color, light brown eyes allowed, with a direct friendly look. The eyelids close well, the conjunctiva is not visible. Lighter, yellowish or grayish yellow, eyes, as well as two close-set eyes, are considered a fault. Ears. Medium size, triangular in shape with a slightly rounded edge, set rather high, stretching to the inner corner of the eye, not set too far back, drooping and fitting well to both sides of the head, neat, with short fine hairs. Long hair is allowed only at the back at the root of the ear. Neck. In cross-section, slightly oval, muscular, well set on the shoulders with a pronounced nape line. A developed collar on the throat and neck is undesirable. Torso. From the withers to the root of the tail, the length of the body is approximately twice the length of the head. The back is firm and straight, very broad and powerful from the shoulders to the croup. The thorax, with strongly sprung ribs, forms a spacious and deep chest and muscular shoulders. The belly is only slightly tucked up. It is important that between the abdomen and the very muscular lumbar part of the groin, they are noticeably tucked up. The spine is broad and arched with well-developed musculature on the sides and towards the back. A softer sagging back, a non-muscular loin, or two short last ribs with a strongly protruding belly are faults. Forelimbs. The front part of the body is characterized by a large muscularity of the humeroscapular part and a powerful skeleton of strong, parallel to each other and absolutely straight legs with regular articulation angles and well-developed muscles. The elbows are fairly high, pointing straight back and fitting well into the deepest part of the chest. The wrists are slightly sloping, springy. Hind limbs. Powerful croup. The hind limbs have strong bones and strongly developed muscles, especially embossed on the hips. Well mobile and springy. Contiguous placement in the hocks, as well as incorrect angles of the articulations, are of vice. Dew claws should be amputated on puppies shortly after they are born. The paws are round, cat-like, large, arched, in a lump. The wide set of the hind limbs and the size are undesirable. Fingers should be palm-like connected. Tail. Thick, very dense and overgrown with thick hair, but not forming a dewlap on its underside, reaching no more than to the hocks. In a calm state, the tail is lowered downwards, on occasion its end may be slightly bent upwards. When excited, the tail is carried horizontally, with a slight upward curve at the end. A tail carried to the side, or carried in a ring on the back is a fault. Vices. The sagging back, the set of the hind limbs brought together in the hocks. Distinctive character traits. Calm, self-confident, vigilant, loyal to the family, rather stubborn dog that requires patience and education. An excellent swimmer and a porter, he strives to benefit a person by realizing the qualities inherited from distant ancestors. It has a complacent peace-loving character and a highly developed rescue instinct. Gets along well with other dogs. After proper socialization and upbringing, it becomes a real family dog, a faithful companion and friend. Landseer dog matures late, in close coexistence with members of his family, reveals many of his good qualities, does not like to be left alone. Being much more mobile than the Newfoundland, it needs long walks and serious physical exertion. Hair care is reduced to daily combing. The average lifespan of this breed is 11 years. Price and how to buy. Depending on the purpose of the purchase, the cost of the puppy will differ. Offspring without the possibility of exhibition and further breeding costs from $2,000 US. If there are plans for future puppies as parents, then the price increases by 2 to 3 times. Show-class puppies are even more expensive, and the price depends on the pedigree and what prizes were received by the parents of the puppies at various exhibitions. If you are looking for a show-class puppy, then you need to contact the breeders registered in the Unified International Register of Breeders, where there is a guarantee of pure blood. In this case, a contract of sale must be signed, where all the circumstances are prescribed, in order to avoid misunderstandings. Buying a puppy in unreliable places is a huge risk of getting a dog similar to Landseer dog, but not being it. While the dog is small, it is difficult to understand how the puppy meets the requirements.